Good morning, everyone. The topic here now is I am what I see. I assume that the organizer meant to speak about modesty and watching the eyes in today's world. Why? Because whatever you see, that's what you become. If you want to know about a person, who this person is, and you just met him for the first time.
You need the microphone?
Yeah. It's disturbing the other one? Okay, so maybe we'll do it without microphone. So, if you want to know a person when you meet him, how do you know who this person is? You let him talk 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, when you begin to talk to him about all kinds of things in the world, then you know what's the main thing in his life. If all he talks about is food, then you know his life is food. If everything he speaks about is cars, that's what he likes in his life. If everything he's speaking about is sport, that's where he is. If everything he speaks about is Torah, then you know it's a Ben Torah. It's 100%. All he does is learning and thinking about Torah, and Torah is his life. So what comes out of his mouth, you know who he is. And that's very interesting. It's very hard like this. So you know that whatever he talks about, that's what a person is. They say about a story that two people came to the Gaon Vilna, and they say to him, Rabbi, we're collecting money. And he asked the first person, they both came from the same city, so he asked the first person, can you describe to me the city? And he said, yeah, they made new roads now, and they put all kinds of things, they make a lake, and they put a lot of flowers. He's describing the place. And then he asked the second person, can you describe to me the city? So he said they made yeshivot, they're opening a new mikveh, there's another Talmud Torah is again they being built, few rabbis moved in, Baruch Hashem, the communities are growing, there's some Baalei Tshuva. So after all that, the Gaon Vilna gave all his zakat to the second one and nothing to the first one. So his Gabbai asked him, do me a favor, Rabbi, can you explain to me why you didn't give the other one anything? Just give maybe them some to here, some to that. Why you gave the second one? What, the other one was not kosher? So he said to him, no, I wanted them to describe to me the city. I wanted to know where their mind is. This is a person that his life is Torah and Yirat Shamayim, and the other person is Olam Hazeh. All he cares about is the culture of the Greeks. Beautiful place, parks. Why should I put my money on someone that doesn't have enough holiness? This is it. Now, many people do not know how severe is the obligation to live holy life and to watch the eyes. The Gemara explained that the Yetzer Hara, there's two kinds of Yetzer Hara. There's Yetzer Hara which is internal, and there's Yetzer Hara that is external. I will soon explain what's the difference between them. But one thing we do know, that the Gemara say, Ha'ayin ro'ah, the eye is watching, Halev chomed, the heart begin to warm up and to desire what the eye see, and then the person goes and make the avera. Then in another place it says, Hirurei avera, kashim min avera. When a person is constantly thinking about the avera, to make a sin, it's worse than the actual one time that he will make the sin. Usually when the Gemara speaks about avera or Yetzer Hara without clarifying what kind of avera they talk about, they're talking about znut, arayos. That's usually how it goes. So when they say to you, Hirurei avera kashim min avera, if a person looking at a woman in a place of a work and he begins to think about her and thinking and dreaming and imagining all kinds of things, it never ends. It can go on and on and on. Even if he went and made the sin, it would be a 1 hour sin and it would be over and his Yetzer Hara will relax and he move on with his life. But as long as he didn't see it, constantly the Yetzer Hara does not leave him alone. It's similar to a lot of the Hasidim, that when they're very curious to know what the other side of the world has to offer, some of them. So they say, oh, it's not fair. You came from that world, you tasted, you did, you know what it is, so now you know both sides and you came, but we don't even know what's over there. Let me go 2-3 years over there, let me taste from all these things that they tell me you're not allowed, you're not allowed, you're not allowed. After I relax my Yetzer Hara and my curiosity, then I will decide. That's a fair game. One time when I went to one of the places and gave a lecture in Hebrew, one Israeli guy got up and he said to me, you, the Haredim, it's always like this, you, the Haredim, it's like we're talking about a different nation, you, the frum people, are not fair with your children. What? You block them from the world, you don't let them see anything, and you don't let them choose the way they want to live. You force it on them. One day they will wake up and they see the rest of the world, and then you can kick out everything you told them and go all the way to the other side. I will put everything in front of my kids and let them decide which way they want to live. If one day they want to be religious, it's their business. If they want to be the way I am, it's their business. I'm not going to tell them anything. So I asked him, everything in the world you show your son? Yeah, free, everything. I say, do you take your son, how old is your son? He says 6 years old. I said, do you take them to the dirty clubs of Manhattan? When Sodom and Gomorrah is a joke compared to what happens over there, do you take your son over there to see what they do, all these filthy people? So he said, no, don't exaggerate. I said, oh, you see, what's the difference between me and you? It's what to show the kids and what not to show. But you also agree there are things you don't want to show your children. So don't be a hypocrite. The difference between me and you is that you decide what's right and wrong, and I don't decide. I leave God to decide for me. And if he told me that's kosher and that's not, that's what I do. And you are your own God. You're making your own rules. And everyone was clapping, and he sat down, he wasn't embarrassed, and he got the point. This is how it goes. Please, one time you get it, your life will never be the same. It will be constant understanding. The way the world is working, every day we say in Kriyat Shema morning and evening, לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. The eye is like a radar. The eye, every second, watch millions of things. That's how the eye works. Now, when you sit here in a room here and listening to my lecture, you're focusing on me. You're looking at me, you're listening to me, you look at my hands moving, but this is almost nothing compared to how much information goes into your brain every second. Me, I'm not even 1% of the amount of things that goes into your brain every second. Meaning, at the same time, your eyes is watching the walls and every line and every dot and the air condition and the lamp and the speaker and the microphone and the phone and this chair and the rug and this picture and every letter, but you don't pay attention to it. Because your brain is divided to 2 categories. It's called conscious and subconscious. What you're busy with in the immediate second, that's called conscious. Which means right now you're in a lecture, you're watching and listening to the speaker. But around the things, in the background, there could be millions of things that penetrates into your brain automatically and you're not aware of it. By the end of this session, if I will interview you and I will ask you, can you tell me everything you saw in a room in the hour that you just said that in a room? The only thing you'll be able to tell me, what did we see? We only saw you, we saw your face, we saw your hands, we saw the microphone, and that's it. Nothing else we can say. But if I hypnotize you later, which means I go directly into your subconscious, I put you to sleep, it's called hypnosis, and I will interview you. Once you're under the influence of hypnosis, you will be able to tell me everything in this room to the smallest detail. Everything, even a cup on the floor, you'll be able to tell me. And not only that, you will be able to describe everything the speaker next door is telling. Right now, if I tell you, can you tell me what he's speaking in the next room? You'll tell me, well, we're not listening to him, we're listening to you. But if I hypnotize you, you'll be able to remember every word he's saying in the next room. Because you hear it right now and it's going into your brain, and every one of his words is recorded in the right order. Under hypnosis, you will be able to speak 1 hour every word he said. Right now, you cannot tell me one word of what he said when you're in conscious. When we go into your subconscious, you'll be able to tell me everything. Every siren on the street, when you walk in Manhattan, millions of people you see every minute walking, crossing the street, buses, all kinds of commercials, you don't even look. But when I hypnotize you, you will be able to describe millions of faces of people that you saw, and you're not even aware that you saw it. Why? Because your brain is recording so much information, more than you can ever imagine. That's called conscious and subconscious. Now the Torah is warning the Jews. לא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם. Your eyes is automatically watching everything. Whether you like it, whether you don't like it. The eye is reviewing everything. However, if you see one of the things and then focus on it, from here the scene begins. I'll explain. If a person walks on the street and he's shomer einayim, he's watching his eyes. He's not focusing on ladies, not modest things on the street, bad pictures. He's not focusing on it. He got himself used not to have selective visions. Everything by him is general. He's not focusing. When he walks on the street, even his best friend can walk nearby, he won't notice him. Why? Because he learned not to focus on people. Men, women, doesn't matter. I'm not taking risk. However, if in 1 second his eye will focus on a woman that she's not modest, the first second, it's not an avera. No matter how not modest she is. It doesn't count as a sin from the Torah. The sin begins from the second, which means after he had 1 second to move his eye or to close them, and he didn't, from that moment on, the sin begins. 1 second, 2, 3, 4, 5, an hour, 2 hours. Not to talk about someone who goes and actually searching to see something not sanua. On the internet, in the streets, in bad places, the damage that it does to his neshama, words cannot describe. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You can take now a person that is 40 years old, living in today's 2016, Leminyanam. And he's a very, very frum person. Grew up in Borough Park to a very Hasidic family. They raised him in such a beautiful way, to watch his eyes, to be a ben Torah, everyday mikveh, mamash a tzaddik. When he walks in the street, he takes his eyeglasses not to see anything, that even if somebody comes, he won't be able to see anyway. So he's mamash shomer einayim. He's not pogem babrit, he doesn't have any averos in his life, Baruch Hashem. Very big tzaddik. But then, you bring him and you hypnotize him. This tzaddik, let's call him Herschel. Herschel, today, we're going to treat you with what we call in science, we call it regression. Did you ever hear about regression or no? Okay, so I have to explain to you what it is. When you go to a parapsychologist, if you ever do it, you must do it with a guard, meaning take someone that you trust to stand there and watch. Why? Because they can take advantage on you. Because you're not unconscious. Can do whatever they want to you. They can tell you, type your bank account, type your password, wire the money from your account to my account, and when you come back to conscious, you won't even know you did it. You won't have it in your record. The next day you come to your bank account, where is my $50 million? It was wired to this account. Who did it? You called the bank. He says, sir, you put your password. Or maybe it's fingerprint. How can a person steal your money? He needs your fingerprints. That means you were there. And you won't even know about it. Why? Because the way they did it, it's called circumvention. They go around and they penetrate directly to your subconscious. They make you do things that you're not aware of. It's very, very dangerous. That's why if you ever do something like this, you must have a guard. Plus, they can take physical advantage on people, and you won't even know about it. So the way it works is like this. A person is sitting in a room, and there is this parapsychologist. And the parapsychologist is saying to you, look at the wall, do you see that dot over there? There's a dot on the wall. Focus on this dot. Do not think about anything. Breathe, take long breath, relax. Just do not think about anything. Stare at this wall and relax. That's one way to do it. Second way, they have a watch on a chain, and the watch goes left and right, like this. Left and right, and they said, just look at the watch, don't think about anything, breathe, relax, and after a few minutes, you're almost fainting. It's like half asleep. You doze, and now you are in his hands 100%. You're in his hands. And now he begins to regress you, meaning he's taking you back in time. Assuming you're 40 years old, and this is 2016, so he say to you, I want to go back with you to the year 2000. August 10, 2 p.m. Can you tell me where you are? We just went back 16 years in time. Yes, I'm in yeshiva in Borough Park. I'm just getting ready to have a test. The Rebbe is going to come to the room any minute. And you say, what is the test? And you describe everything. 16 years ago. Today, you don't even remember what the test was about. But now he doesn't talking to your conscious, he's talking to your subconscious. Everything you ever did in your life, everything you ever saw, everything you ever heard, everything you ever learned, everything is stored in your brain, in your neshama, which is what we call the subconscious. Not only from this life, also from previous lives, from the life before and the life before and the life before, all the way to the time of Matan Torah. People can regress you to generations that were mamash in the time of the Torah. And they can talk to you in languages that today nobody understands in the world. A language that 1,000 years ago they stopped talking. It's gone from the world. They have to bring expert to try to understand what language you are talking about. Because there was 1,000 years ago. This is who you used to be 1,000 years ago. In a generation that people used to walk in a field with shovels and everything was primitive with a donkey. You'll be amazed how they describe the world in the middle of regression. It's an unbelievable research. So, now when we took you back 16 years in time, so now when we took you back 16 years in time, you are now 24 years old. Then we took you now another 20 years. Now you're 4 years old. So we say, tell me what 1980. August 10, 1980. Tell us where you are. You are 4 years old. All of a sudden, now you are 40 years old, sitting in front of a camera. You begin to cry like a 4 years old. Mommy, I want candy. You're screaming, I want candy. What? Because we just caught you in the middle of what happened exactly 36 years ago, when you were a little kid fighting for ice cream. And then we say, let's go to 1960. How can we go to 1960? You were not born yet. So we go to 1960. This is 16 years before you were born. So we say to you, tell me where you are. If you were in a body, meaning in this world, right the way you're going to speak in a language you used to speak in a previous body. If you're a French Jew, you begin to speak French. Even though now you don't know one word in French, You will see later in a camera that you speak fluent French. And you could be a woman. Now you're a man. You begin to speak from your mouth with the voice of a woman. The woman is speaking from your mouth in French, and later you watch the video and you cannot believe, how am I speaking like a woman? How am I speaking this language? What am I saying? And then they explain to you, the interpreters, you used to be Jacqueline, you live in Paris, you were the wife of the Rebbe over there, and you begin to describe your life. But if you are not in a body, there is no talking. Tell me where you are, 1960. You go like this. No answer. Why? Because the soul was not in a body. The soul was in a shamayim. Where the soul was, there is a place called Tohu. All the neshamot are there. Chazal is calling it two names, one Tohu and one Guf. אין בן דוד בא עד שלא יכלו כל הנשמות מן הגוף. Mashiach will never come, one of the conditions in the Gemara, until all the souls that are stored in this tank that called Guf, the tank that restore all the souls of all the people that is waiting to be reincarnated again to have another tikkun, the souls are still waiting to come for one more chance to purify themselves in this world. Which means they are not corrected yet. They didn't finish their mission. So the soul is stored in a goof. So the Gemara say, when Mashiach would come, after Hashem will send all the neshamot out of the goof, they will all have their chances. Once they did or did not correct themselves, that's it. It's a final stage. No more correction. Then Mashiach would come. You had your chances, you missed it, chas v'shalom. Mashiach come, you destroyed, you will never see the Geulah and finish. Or you did fix yourself. And then you stay for the resurrection of the dead, for the days of Mashiach, for all these things that will happen in the days of Mashiach. One way or the other. But one thing you should know, everything you ever saw, everything dirty you saw, there is no way to delete it from your neshama ever, ever. Even after 1,000 years, you saw something not sanua 1,000 years. It's still in your neshama today, 1,000 years later. And of course, the only way to know it and to remember it is by going and speaking directly to the neshama. And we tell you actually what we want you to say. You cannot remember it on your own. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. From life. A person came from work and he's coming off the bus and his wife is standing by the window and she watched her husband coming all the way from the bus stop to the building. So he's staring at the floor while he's walking. He's walking and walking and walking and he's looking at the floor. When he comes into the house, his wife told him, Moishi, can you describe to me what you saw on the floor, on the street, when you came, when you were walking home? So he said to his wife, are you normal? Who cares about what's on the floor on the street? I wasn't looking at the floor. So she said to him, do you want me to show you the video? I film you that you actually staring at the floor when you walk on the street. He said to her, no. I was not looking at the floor. I was thinking about what happened at work. My mind is, today I had all kinds of things happen at work. So his wife said, so you basically tell me that you cannot tell me one thing that you saw on the floor, not even one thing? He said, absolutely not. I didn't look at the floor. 5 minutes later, his wife wants to hang a picture on the wall. So she's looking for a nail or a screw in the drawers she cannot find. She said, oh, now for one nail I'm going to have to drive now all the way to Home Depot. I wish I can find one screw, one nail that I can hang this picture. So her husband said to her, oh, wait a minute, let me go get you a nail. He runs quickly to the street. She's looking from the window. By the bus stop, he just found the nail on the floor. He picked it up and he ran quickly home and he gives her the nail. And then she asks him, I don't get it. I asked you 3 times. Can you tell me what you saw on the floor, on the street? You told me you're crazy. I'm not looking at the floor. And now you remember that specific nail 100 yards away from the house? Exactly where it was? How can it be? This is the way Hashem designed the human being. Everything around you is recorded, whether you like it or not. Automatically, it's like you have a camera at 360 degrees. Every beep, every detail, every nail on the floor, every piece of dust, one tiny piece of dust on the table, recorded. Everything. Your phone is going to make a beep that you got a message or an email. You don't even pay attention because you're busy with something. It's all recorded. 1,000 years later, you can get that information out. I'll give you another example. One woman in Israel, she was standing by a bus stop, 7-year-old woman. She was holding her bag, waiting for a bus. Behind her, a motorcycle was coming close. 2 people sitting on a motorcycle, the driver and the one behind. As she's standing like this with a bag, the person in the back of the motorcycle grabbed her bag. They're robbing her now. She's standing over there. He grabbed her bag. She is an older woman. She fell on the floor. And they ran away, the motorcycle. They stole whatever she has. The people picked her up. You okay, man? Yes, yes. Wow, all my stuff there, the money. The police came. They asked the woman, can you describe to us who the thieves were? She said, no. The only thing I can tell you that I heard the voice of motorcycle, and a second later, that's what happened. So they take her to the station, to the precinct. They put her in a room with a parapsychologist to hypnotize her. And in hypnosis, not only she knows the motorcycle came from behind, she said the plate number, she described the driver, she described the second person, she described everything they were, she described the people around that were standing and watching, and she knows where the motorcycle went to make a left. The police now has enough information in 10 minutes to locate the bike. They go over there, they grab the thieves with the press before they even took the money. And they arrest them and they bring her back the bag. This is actually happened in Israel in the precinct of Bat Yam. What do we see over here? Before the hypnotizer, she couldn't say anything. Once they went into her subconscious, she was able to see in the millionth of a second, while she was falling down from the side of her left eye, she saw the images of those 2 people with thousands of pieces of information, clothing, rings, watch, plate number, everything in 1 second went directly into her brain and recorded everything, which is unbelievable. Today, by the way, we find autistic kids and people with Down syndrome that when we communicate with them through computer, they have much greater abilities than us. If I want to remember 2 pages in a book, it will take me a few hours. I will have to read it many, many times until finally I will know the whole thing, and plus I will make few mistakes to remember. But if you come to an autistic person, you open the book in his face, 1 second, open and close. And then you bring his hand to the computer. Herschel, tell me what's in the book. He types everything and he doesn't even look at the keyboard. He's like this. And he types everything. And you look word by word. Less than a second. What happened? Hashem took the soul and engraved it directly together with the body. We are half God, half animal. Half of us is animals. We have animal instinct, food, relation, all kinds of things that animals like, going into water, swimming, physical pleasure. Every physical pleasure that we have, animals have. Same thing we like, monkeys like. Same thing. They like good food, whatever is their taste. They love relation, they love sport, they like to swim. They like many, many things that we like. Throw them peanuts, you should see how they get excited. So people are just as bad when it comes to physical desires. The difference between us and the animals, that we also have a spark of God in us. That's the neshama, neshama shebarata, yatzarta, nefachta betochi, bekirbi, וכולי, all these things that we say. You actually made a monkey, which is me, and inside the monkey you put a part of yourself. You put it in. How does a monkey go with God together? It's a very big mystery, but that's reality. By the way, all the animals, they either walk on four, or even those who walk on two, or able to walk on two, none of them can stand straight. All of them are bent down. Even a monkey, even if you walk on his legs, back legs, once in a while he puts his front hands down and he goes on four. But even when he wants to walk on two, his head is bent down. All the animals, their face is down. Why? Because they never got anything from heaven. They are all 100% from the earth, from the Adamah. 100% material. We that have the neshama, we have from Shamayim. We are half from the ground and half from Shamayim. So together we always stand straight. We are the only creature from 2 million different creatures in a creation that can stand straight. And we have neshama elokit. And the neshama elokit has no limitation, no memory limitation, no visions, no understanding, nothing. So when a neshama comes out of the body, if you had a way to talk to a neshama that is out of the body, the neshama knows things, the neshama even knows the future. How do you know? The Gemara says that some of the rabbis, they used to know what the market will have tomorrow. The wheat will go up, the wheat will go down. The price of wine will go up, the price of wine will go down. So one of the rabbis, he used to buy, and when it goes, when it goes down, he buys. When it goes up, he sells. He always knows. He has inside information, and the FBI cannot arrest him. Why? Because they cannot find in his computer any information. Where does he get his information? He used to go to the cemetery and talk to the dead bodies, meaning to their spirit. And they used to tell him what's going to happen tomorrow in the market. Meaning the metim, the dead people, they can tell you what's going to happen. We don't know 1 minute what's going to happen next. But they, since they don't have a free choice anymore, and are not in a test, so they have no problem knowing the future because they finished with their test. So they are able to know. It's very interesting how it works. Once a person comes out of the body, all the body limitations are gone. Once he goes into the body, he gets all the limitation of the body. But one thing never goes away. Everything you ever saw is recorded. Everything. That's why it's very, very dangerous. Sometimes a fool person has Yetzer Hara. And he say, I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to make any sin. I only look, Rabbi. I look from time to time. It relaxes my Yetzer Hara. But I never dare to do any Avera. Come on, Rabbi. I know who I am. I'm a fool person. The Rambam says that a person that watch not modest things, it's a very, very big sin from the Torah, not from Rabbanan, from the Torah. And the Rambam says, a person thinks, what have I done? What's the big deal? The answer is a very, very, very big deal. The Gemara says, if a person look at the hands of a woman, the palms, not the body, when she writes a telephone number on a piece of note, he looks at her fingers and he enjoys from her hands. He's looking at her hands and he's saying, what a beautiful hand she has, look, or a little bit nail polish, let's say she has, or nails, some of the women, they have long nails, which the Torah does not like at all. Today in a world of lies, women think that long nails is beautiful. They go to the saloon, they glue, they do all kinds, the flag of Puerto Rico on it, all kinds of things. The other day I went to Walmart, so the woman she had to type on
the computer to open the register, but she had such long nails, I don't know where she got such long nails from. You had to see how she's killing herself. I said, what a foolish woman. She worked here all day suffering for these stupid witch nails that she grew. Why? She thinks it's pretty. What does the Torah say? Long nails for a woman, it's pretty or it's ugly? Where does it say in the Torah that it's ugly? Eshet Yefat Torah. When a man goes into a war and he saw Christine over there, and Christine said to him, "Hi, Itzi," like this. And what happened? He looked at her and his Yetzer Hara began to walk, and he said, "I have to make a scene with her." But he's a Yireh Shamayim, you know, he's hiding his payos, he's putting a rubber band on his beard, trying to look like Tony a little bit as much as it's possible. You know, Yamakai puts in his hand, in his pocket, and he's coming to her, "Hey, how are you?" And he begins to talk to her. Now he wants to make an avera. The Torah says, wait, don't rush. Shave her head, make her dress, prison clothes, let her one month grow her nails, you know. And after she did all these things, you're supposed to be disgusted from her. If you still have Yetzer Hara for her, no, Hashem Yerachem. If I'm not going to allow you to make an avera, you're going to do it anyway because en apotropos la'arayot, shakoach. En apotropos la'arayot. So you know what? Convert her, be with her, but you're going to pay the price. No matter what, even though I allowed you, when you're going to have a child with her, he's going to drink your blood for breakfast with a straw. Meaning he's going to kill you. He's going to destroy you, this child. Why? You went after the beauty of the Goya. You didn't know enough what's going to be your end. This is the price. Who did it and it happened to him? Huh? David HaMelech. Poor David HaMelech. How much he suffered from his children. How much he suffered from them. Not only Avshalom, some of the others. But at the same time, he had the son, Kilav. What was special about Kilav? The Gemara says 4 people never made a sin in their entire life. Never made one sin. Living the entire life and don't make one tiny sin. How can it be? Who are they? Amram, the father of Moshe Rabbeinu. No wonder why he had such kids. Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. 3 prophets. You know? 3 out of 3. 100% pure success. Amram. Who else? Binyamin. Binyamin, one of the tribes. Ishai, the father of David HaMelech. No wonder he had such a son. And the 4th one is the son of David HaMelech, Kilav. Meaning he was perfect, 100% tzaddik. So what do we see over here? Every one of our choices have consequences. Consequences. You do certain things now, you'll pay the price 10 years later. It's only a matter of time until what you cooked, you will be forced to eat it. Remember this rule. I'm begging you, don't ever believe, no matter who the speaker is, without going into names. We're not here to criticize anyone. Just to open the mind of the people that listens to me now and will watch later on the internet. Don't ever even listen. And if accidentally you listen, please do not accept any speaker, no matter how big he is, no matter how small he is, it doesn't matter. Any speaker that will tell you that Hashem does not punish, Hashem is Rahman, there's no such thing, punishment by Hashem, we all go to heaven, don't worry. Everyone who speaks like this is 100% kofir in Hashem. It contradicts the 13th principle of Judaism that Hashem reward the righteous and punish the wicked, which is a concept, solid foundation in our religion. This is the way Hashem designed the Torah. The Torah is full of reward and punishment. The Torah is full of warnings. Be careful, Ishamer Lecha. The Torah is full of examples what happened to wicked Jews that went against Hashem. And sometimes one sin destroyed a person for eternity. Who can give me one example? One sin of a tzaddik that caused him to lose everything, eternity. Huh? From the Torah. Korach, Shevet Levi, billionaire, Chacham, standing in Har Sinai and heard the voice of Hashem. His ego was eating him up, and he went and made a rebel against Moshe Rabbeinu and convinced all the other rabbis to join him. 1 hour sin and destroyed him forever. Until today, we use him as a bad example how not to be. Don't be like Korach v'adato, machloket. When a big Rebbe wants to curse a person, he's Korach. It's a horrible shame. Korach in Gehinnom until today screaming Moshe Emet v'Torato Emet. And every second in the world, some kind of a frum speaker is using his name as a bad example. Same thing, Yerovam ben Nevat. Yerovam, the king, he was a super genius Talmid Chacham. All the rabbis in the world today combined, all the Dayanim, all the Rebbes, all Gdolei Ador, all the Avrechim in the Kollels, all of them combined cannot reach his level. Yerovam ben Nevat. Every subject in the Torah, he knew 127 different speeches to give about it. He would shock you from his knowledge and his brilliance. Even Hashem was impressed by his level of knowledge in Torah. And what happened? He was a proud person. His ego was eating him up. Ego, it's poison. It's develop and destroy the person from inside. התאווה והקנאה והכבוד מוציאים את האדם מן העולם. It takes away the person from this world and from the next world, taking him out completely. And what happened to Yerovam ben Nevat? Because he didn't want to go to Yerushalayim, and he will stand while Rechavam, the second king, is sitting on the chair of the king, and all the people came to the regel, to the holiday in Yerushalayim, and the king, Rechavam, is sitting like a king, and Yerovam will have to stand with the audience like an ordinary person, which means I'm less than him. I'm not going to come to the same place. I know people today, rabbis, not rabbis, it doesn't matter, that if you tell them to come to a bris, they only come if they are the sandak. If you don't let them be the sandak, they will never come. They will find excuses. I have a flight, I'm not going to be in town, I have other things, I have a commitment. Or they'll tell you I'm coming and they don't show up. I knew one of them. Personally, I saw how it works. He told me, call to check if they're planning to give me the sandakut. I said, what do you care? You find out when it happens. In the beginning, I thought maybe he wants to go to the mikveh. After all, it's not Hasidish. Hasidish, they go every day to the mikveh. Not everyone goes to the mikveh every day. I thought maybe he wants to prepare in advance before davening to go to the mikveh. I was giving him kaf zchut, benefits of the doubt. But then I saw, even when he's in Sandak, he doesn't go to the mikveh. I pick him up from the house, ride away to the davening, and ride away to the sandakut. So one time I saw a pattern here. He wants to know in advance if it's the sandak or no, because every time they say, no, I'm giving it to my father, or I'm giving it to a different rabbi, he's not showing up to the brit. He's not coming. Same thing in weddings. He said, ask who they give to be Mesader Kiddushin. And he said, no, I brought my wife's rabbi, or my father's rabbi, or my rabbi from yeshiva. Not him. He said, don't pick me up at 7:30. Pick me up at 9. I said, why? The chuppah will be finished by 9. He said, that's the point. I don't want to be in the chuppah. Why? He doesn't want to be in a place where there's other Mesader Kiddushin. Why? Rotten, big Rasha. Knows Torah, he knows how to speak, but he's 100% Rasha. Why? Because Gaftan is a wicked person. גאווה, הקדוש ברוך הוא cannot stand people with pride. And this is something that a Jew must work all his life. No matter how great you are, stay simple. Nothing extraordinary, no special outfit, no special car, nobody opens the door for you, not business class, none of these things. Stay simple. Go to the supermarket, stay simple. Doesn't matter, you're the biggest chacham in the world. You don't need all these shamashim and 500 people to protect you, and you don't need people to kiss your hand. This Hashem cannot stand the show off. I'll give you one example. The biggest chacham in the world, and the biggest mekubal in the world, and one of the biggest tzaddikim in the world was Rav Ben Zion Abba Shaul Zecher Tzaddik Livracha. Many of the Ashkenazim rabbis, they knew who he is. Rav Eliashiv admired him. When Rav Eliashiv saw an answer that he gave, he said, this is a super Talmid Chacham. And he asked to bring him to him. Rav Eliashiv was 20 years older than him back then. He wanted him to bring me this, because when they asked him, who are you? He said, I'm an Avrech in Porat Yosef. I'm a, Talmid. He didn't say, I'm a Ram, I'm a Melamed. He never said. He dressed short jacket. He stands on the street, you would think he sells vegetables. You will never believe this is the holiest person in the world. A huge super Talmid Chacham, Eved Hashem, like he doesn't have Yetzer Hara. Plus he's full of suffering, sicknesses. His wife had 12 miscarriages, 13 pregnancies, one boy was born. 12 failed, and you never saw it in his face. Nobody even knew it, that he's losing one kid after the other. You didn't see ever on his face. A lion. He was such a humble person, such anav, that he got on the bus in Yerushalayim, sitting on a bus. Nobody came with a limo to pick him up, or a special big van. And the bus, walking, standing like all the people on a line. He gets on the bus. The driver in Yerushalayim, in Hebrew, Habubchik, he throw him the towel. Catch. So he to grab it. Clean my mirror, please. You know, the buses in Israel, they have a big mirror on the side. So move it a little bit to the left, clean it. The number one person in the universe is standing on the stairs of the bus and cleaning the mirror, and all the people of Yerushalayim in the bus, when they realized, they started to scream and curse the driver. And the driver said, excuse me, wait a minute. How am I supposed to know he's a rabbi? Everyone that has a black hat is a rabbi. You know? How? And his beard was not even long. It was trimmed. It didn't look anything special. In a chuppah, when somebody else was mesader kiddushin, he used to stand by the people and look like that. Regular, ordinary person. He was always hiding himself. Why? Because if you're real Eved Hashem, and the last thing you care about is what people think, and how you look, and this, and who's going to kiss my hand, and what. 1 minute? Panel is right here in this room? Okay, so we have a panel right now, right after this lecture, so as soon as the second... Oh, you're opening the door? Okay. In 5 minutes. So let's conclude the lecture here for 5 minutes. So we have to understand one thing. I got you, 3 minutes. So 2 minutes and 20 seconds, I will finish. Okay. You know, one person came to a Yeke Shul, and he said to the Gabbai, Ma'ariv now? Because they say 11:04. Ma'ariv now? The Gabbai said, no, now. But some people, they're so precise, it become a mental issue already. You know? I once went to, you know, I will finish with a story. We have 1 minute left. I'll tell you a nice story. I had the zchut to make a Baal Tshuva that he was the champion of United States in karate. Karate, in Brooklyn until today, he has a karate school. So this guy, he went to the Olympic and he won the medal for United States. And he's an Israeli guy. He was few years in Japan, mastering karate. He learned by the Japanese over there on the mountains of Japan. And he came to America, and when they realized he's a champion in karate, right away they gave him a green card, because they want to win the Olympic. So he got a green card. And he was a total atheist, doesn't know anything from Judaism, until we met in one Shabbat. He was a neighbor of my friend. I spent Shabbat in Brooklyn. My friend called him to come eat with us. That Seudah, I made him a Baal Tshuva. One time I went to his house. On the way, I stopped by his house. After it became full already. I went into his house. I saw it looks like, in a pharmacy, how everything is in order. Not one thing is offline. So I saw his slippers. He has these Japanese slippers in the corner of the room, parallel to each other like this. So I realized this person has some kind of a disorder that if something is not 100%, he goes crazy. So I went with my leg and I kicked the slippers. I moved it. I wanted to see his reaction. He turned around, he put it right back. Then later on, I moved it again. Why are you moving it? He had to fix it. I said to him, what do you care? Look, everything is in order. So he said to me, that's it, he cannot get it out of me. I was in Japan. That's how they are over there. One thing is not exactly, the worker can kill himself. If a worker in a factory messed up, in an electronic, he works in a factory, one mess up and the boss is telling him something, he can go crazy and kill himself. That's why the difference between a Japanese car to an American car, it's like comparing between a person to a monkey. They both look alike, but everybody understands the difference, right? It looks like a car, but it's a whole different quality. Why? Because, and the same thing the Germans, like this, pedantic. Everything must be in place. But in America, chocolate donuts, beer, Mr. Williams, Mr. Jackson, sitting all day. You know, on the highway, in construction, 15 years, 5 potholes on a bridge. Right? That's the mentality of it. Take it easy, buddy. You leave a message to an American person in business, when does he call you back? 5 days later. Hi, sorry for getting so late to you back. Yeah, by now the project is finished already. He's calling you 5 days. In Israel, you leave a message to a person, an hour later he doesn't call you back. No, what's going on? How long will I wait for you? In America, you leave a message, let's go to Israel. When we come back, he's going to call us back. Right? Take it poco, Rabbi. Slowly. So conclusion, the obligation to watch the eyes is not chumrah. It's not if you want to be extra holy. No, it's an obligation every second of the life. And even if you have to educate yourself and to train yourself, that even if you have a group of ladies and you may not need to talk to them, you give a shiur, you never focus with the zoom of your eyes on any woman, not on her face, not on her back. You look at that as a general thing. Therefore, when you're not focusing, your brain never think bad. You just look at that like you see statues. You put 20 statues in front of you. You care? You don't care. This is the way a person has to train himself. In a time of the Gemara, they had holy people that the Rebbe can take the kala and make her sit on his shoulder and holding her legs and dancing with her like this. Today, they changed it. They have the stripe and they do it from far away. The Rebbe is going to make the kala sits on his shoulder and walks like this. The next day, they take tomatoes in Borough Park and throw on his head. So this is a Rebbe, this? But in the time of the Gemara, they ask him, Rabbi, you don't have Yetzer Hara? You're holding a young kala and she sits on your shoulder and you dance like this. It's not, it's not Simchat Torah. You dance with the Torah like this. So I look at her as a piece of stick. It doesn't even enter my mind. But who can say such thing today? Today the world is a zoo. And when you are in a zoo, you have to protect yourself just like when you walk in a zoo. You have to be cautious. And therefore, first, better not to go to places that is not snooze. Better not to go. Even sometimes you have a friend or a relative who gets married in a wedding that is mixed. And your Rav say, you can go only to the chuppah. And then you leave. Who say it's good to go to the chuppah? By going to the chuppah, you're still going to have to see all the half-naked women there. You have to hear all the shtuyot that they talk about. Even you just came for half an hour chuppah, already it's Sodom and Gomorrah over there. All the Reform people, all the high heels, tons of perfumes around. It kills your Yetzer Hara. Big deal. So you don't go to the chuppah. But it's my cousin. He's going to get offended. Your cousin will defend you in Yom Adin from the punishment you're going to get because you went to his chuppah. If he will give you a personal guarantee that in Yom Adin he will tell Hashem, hold it, I commend you. Don't touch my cousin. He came to my wedding. You're not allowed to give him an onesh. If you have a special guarantee, okay. But until then, let's not kid ourselves. We're unable to do it. They say 5 minutes, but it went more than 5 minutes, no? Okay, so let's start. Let's start the lecture.
What happens when you do tshuva?
When you do tshuva, you save yourself from the punishment, but you're not deleting it from your record. It stays there forever. And plus, by the way, you should know things that are in our subconscious affecting our choices in life and our behaving. If a person watches too much dirty things in the internet, even now as a complete Baal Tshuva, it will continue to affect him every day of his life. It will never go away. This is one of the damages that there's no way to fix. It's like, I tell you what it's like. You know, sometimes in a computer there are viruses. And you make a special virus cleaning, and it cleans everything, and there is this file that it cannot clean. It makes it inactive, but it's stay there. You try to delete, unable, but it's not active. You made it not active, uninstalled. It cannot. It has to stay there forever. You cannot get rid of it. But even though right now it's not active because you did tshuva and you deleted it, it stays there forever. And by the way, the Ari HaKadosh says when you go to Shamayim, on the trial begin, even if you're 100% the Baal Tshuva, the Baal Tshuva of the generation, big tzaddik, you became a big rabbi, everything is registered on the forehead of the person. Every avera he made before he became a Baal Tshuva, everything is revealed in Olam HaEmet. So the Ari HaKadosh say, what's the only way to hide the crimes from the Beit Din Shel Mala, that they won't even be able to see the sins that you made before you were a Baal Tshuva? What's the only way? Now when you cry to Hashem for Mechila on Yom Kippur or on other days, you take the tears that comes out and you smear it on your forehead, and they delete the averos that a person made. This is the Ari HaKadosh. It's not Mekupal Baba that came from Gaza, talking the Ari HaKadosh here, So you take the tears and you smear it and smear it and smear it, and eventually you come to Shamayim and say, oh, this guy doesn't have any record. Why? I just told you the secret, the Ari HaKadosh. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the next lecture now.